You sit down on the couch, open an app, and plan to scroll for 5 minutes. You blink, and 5 hours have vanished. That time isn't randomly evaporating. It's extracted by the strict mathematics of the modern attention economy. For creators on platforms like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, a video lives or dies on a brutal 3-second rule. This graph illustrates exactly why those first seconds dictate success. If you look at the x-axis, you can see that if a user doesn't see a snappy visual or text overlay immediately, they swipe away. To get massive viral reach, creators must compress their entire narrative into a 15 to 45-second window to force a high completion rate. Losing your afternoon to your feed is not a failure of personal willpower. You are simply losing a lopsided fight against mathematically optimized media. But the mathematics on the screen are only half the equation. The real target is the biological machinery inside your head. This diagram maps the compulsion loop, a biological cycle built on anticipation, activity, and reward. Modern apps are engineered to keep this cycle spinning. Crucially, dopamine is heavily synthesized during the anticipation of a reward. Fast-paced, unpredictable content maximizes that exact feeling. By keeping chemical anticipation permanently elevated, digital platforms effectively trap human attention in an infinite loop. The blueprint for this psychological trap was actually drawn up decades before the first smartphone was even invented. In the mid-20th century, a behavioral psychologist named B.F. Skinner conducted a series of foundational experiments on operant conditioning, specifically how behaviors are modified by rewards. Skinner placed animals in specialized enclosures and discovered a powerful quirk in mammalian biology. When rewards are dispensed at random, unpredictable intervals, the animals develop the strongest, most obsessive habits, repeating actions relentlessly. This mechanism is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it is the exact engine driving modern digital design. A social media feed or a video game loot box operates on the exact same psychological principle as a casino slot machine. Because your brain can never predict if the next swipe, video, or level will yield a satisfying payoff, it physiologically compels you to keep pulling the lever. While short-form video exploits this system through rapid-fire repetition, modern video games stretch it out into deeply sustained engagement. Game developers aim to play players in a psychological state of flow. This occurs when a game flawlessly balances escalating challenges with a player's developing skills, creating a state of total, unbroken immersion. This chart compares how activities affect the brain. Baseline dopamine is on the left. A satisfying meal triggers a moderate increase, but the repetitive reward prediction errors in video games can spike dopamine up to 100% above baseline. Maintaining this highly elevated neurochemical state produces a direct, measurable symptom: severe time distortion. Players sit down intending to clear one more level, and suddenly the sun is coming up. The game's reward structure successfully hacks the brain's internal clock, making hours register as minutes. When this perfectly engineered loop successfully overrides human biology, the macro-level consequences become severe. During extreme gaming binges, players routinely ignore basic survival cues. The need for sleep, food, and social connection are entirely suppressed by the drive to complete the compulsion loop. The physiological toll became so pronounced that in 2018, the World Health Organization officially added gaming disorder to the ICD-11 medical classification. The criteria for this classification hinge on impaired control. It describes a state where the escalating priority of digital rewards completely eclipses other life interests and daily realities. Tech companies and algorithm engineers will continue to refine the 3-second hook and variable reward structures to push their completion metrics as high as possible. Relying on willpower alone to stop scrolling is a losing strategy against a mathematically perfect system. The only viable defense is understanding the underlying neurochemical architecture being used against you. Recognizing the precise mechanics of the compulsion loop allows you to see the trap before it snaps shut. It is the mandatory first step to reclaiming your dopamine and taking back your time.